We dropped down clean, it was going so smooth. Democracy to spread, we were finding our groove. Then I tapped the code with the confident flair, but the hell pod landed right on your hair. I swear I aimed wide, I swear I was sure, but your screams got cut off by a resupply door. Now you're just bones in the resupply zone. Whoops, my bad, I'll go alone. Oops, I called a stratagem. You again, just meant to drop ammo, not end a friend. Oops, I lit the sky with orbital rain, but forgot our squad was still in the lane. I'm a hazard to my team, but at least I fight for democracy. Friendly fire is on.
Accident-prone lords of war. That was, oops, I called a stratagem on you. Again. By Timo. A song of metal, of valor, of... well... whoops. Yes, new ODSTs, I am certain that you have realized by now that once a stratagem beacon is primed, if it touches anything, literally anything, that is not your hand, it is going to call in a strike at that location. Your Super Destroyer crew is trained not to question your infallible judgment, and will just assume that you meant to call on that 380mm barrage directly on your squad. The sad fact of the matter is that, yes, accidents will happen in the field. It's unavoidable. You'll get bopped around, get your elbow knocked, or just plain get unlucky and trip and fall. And then you will see that red beam rising into the heavens like a harbinger of doom. No one will fault you for making the occasional mistake. They will, however, come to dislike you if you end up keeping that kind of thing to yourselves and they catch an artillery shell to the brain pan. So be sure to scream real loud if you screw up so that your squad knows at the very least to try to get out of the danger zone before it's too late. Even I, with over 1,500 hours of drop time logged, can still mess up. I once deployed a Tesla tower on a geoscan mission. Figured the location was good. Depressed terrain, blind corner, should be able to handle everything the bots could throw at it pretty easily. My team apparently thought so as well, because all three of them gathered around it, moths to a flame. One of them was even in an exosuit, and not a single one of them saw the dreaded spark plug. And then they accused me of trolling. My only defense? Well, I didn't expect you all to scurry over and lick the forbidden ninefold. We still managed to get the mission done, by the way. That's lesson 2. You never give up until you get the mission field notification. As long as one of you still draws breath, there's still hope. So, news for today. I must say, Helldivers, I am very impressed. I completely forgot about the defensive bonus that securing Emeria City would bring. Once these SEAF Marines were placed in the defensive positions secured by the Helldiver Corps, Automatai collective forces were completely routed. It was less a desperate fight for our lives and more blasting our hated foes into ash so fine that you could mix it with a little bit of water and make tasteful pottery for Supermom in an afternoon of casual button pushing. The same can also be said for Fort Union, that exists like an island amidst a sea of insectoid fury. Yeah, we'll probably have to clean that out before the Gloom expedition next week. As of right now, Sulfura, Astura, Cirrus, Turg, Borak, and Erata Prime are all claimed by one brand of Terminid or another, with Nublaria I currently being disputed via high-caliber ammunition. Over in the Death Frontier, the Illuminate have apparently been given pause. They did not expect such overwhelming resistance from the ODSTs, and have made no further movements toward Fort Sanctuary, or anywhere else for that matter, since late last week, where the required kill quota was achieved. Given what I am sensing as background thoughts from that section of the galaxy, it feels like they're more in a mood to lick their wounds and glare at us hatefully, rather than setting their next move into motion. You bloody their nose, Helldivers, and they won't forget that in a hurry. Speaking of kill quotas, there is only 24 hours left in the clock, and the required 6 billion Terminids is still left incomplete at 93%. Projections indicate that you're going to be cashing in the last few bug bodies with only minutes to spare, like a teenager scrambling to get his homework done before the teacher comes to collect. So if you have a little bit of time to spare for a dive today, it would really be appreciated. We are really under the gun here, and every diver counts. Now, allow me to address some rumors floating around the Liberation fleet. Yes, there is a Gloom expedition scheduled next week, and yes, there are plans to deploy Helldivers into underground hive tunnels due to the fact that the Ministries of Super-Earth did not opt to renew their cooperation contract with the Deep Rock Galactic Mining Corporation. I have heard that the representatives from DRG did not take the news well, and have since recalled their miners of great stature back to Hoxie's 4, I think it's 4, with plans to launch a formal protest with the Better Galactic Business Bureau. Good luck with that, guys. I've been trying to file complaints against the Super-Earth government for months now, and I'm pretty sure it just goes right from the envelope straight to the shredder. The point is that the ministries feel confident that Helldivers can do a better job of clearing Terminids from the tunnels so that mining operations may ensue. They ignore the fact that Helldivers are glorified artillery spotters, and without the aid of sentries, super destroyers, or eagle bombers, my glorious corps is basically demoted to dudes with guns that they really wish were larger. Make no mistake, next week is going to be a cataclysmic cat storm. Though, the more that I look at these proposed mission conditions, the more I see this as simply a new form of challenge, rather than outright impossibility that one courts death from. Anti-tank can be brought in from outside of the cave system via thermites and recoilless. Supply backpacks will be immensely valuable, as will energy weapons. Reinforcements, supply pods, orbital strikes, or anything that requires open sky will be an immediate no, though, so some adaptation will be required. I am going to give this a cautiously optimistic possible analysis. Oh, yeah, there are also reports of... I can hardly believe that I'm reading this on air. Skyrim dragons seen in the skies of the gloom by long-range observers. Magical or not, I'm thinking that when a diver dusts off the good old spear, cheaper gas prices are going to be hitting the dirt in a few pulls of the trigger. We were told that Leviathans were unbeatable and just too much trouble to kill, and liberty preserve us, we went through the trouble to kill them. These dragons will be no different. Adapt, overcome, overwhelm, just like we always have. Today's word is festouche, with an optional distant boom. In other news, literally so, there is a new Super Citizens Bulletin up on their Super Discord site, link in the description below if you are listening on my YouTube feed, and it occurs to me that attempting to jam a whole week's worth of news into a single broadcast might have me even more overworked than I already was, not to mention doing an immense disservice to the SCB and the talented artists that they have on staff, so I am simply going to encourage my dear listeners to go and have a look for themselves. Tell them that Pondera says hi. I do have to say that the Dear Lady Liberty segment this week is incredibly cute. Now, one final bit of news before I take a small break and spend Labor Day with my amazing, wonderful, handsome eagle pilot. Explorers from Angel's Refuge have discovered a new habitable world rich in natural resources that has been dubbed Galatea 37 due to its orbital position within the Galatea system, and have deployed there in specialized exosuits designed for self-sufficient exploration and on-site research and development. Recently, and strangely, there was a request from these brave explorers for a large amount of exosuit weaponry standard construction templates, explaining that the native wildlife of Galatea 37 is extremely hostile. Makes the Terminid swarm look like a bunch of orphans with no arms or legs and progeria, and I'm quoting them here. These were some of the words exchanged from the Riftbreaker exploration teams with the Councilium Caelestis. Upon reviewing footage from the surface of Galatea 37, such requests were approved, with all future requests being retroactively approved with no further authorization being required. Jeez Louise, it sounds like one heck of a party down there. Riftbreaker exosuits are no joke, and for these guys to be worried, Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and call not yet. I will gladly head down into the Terminid tunnels if given such a choice. That's been Liberty's latest with me, Pondera the Radio Angel. No broadcast tomorrow since I'll be spending it with my sweetie bae. We're gonna go to the zoo together, and I plan on getting me some of those ultra floofy Bavarian pretzels. But you can bet your bottom super credit that I'll be back in time to hit the ground running directly into the Terminid hive tunnels. Tunnels? I went into the tunnels once. It gave me claustrophobia, and Yeah, you're right, Aunt Lily. That meme is overused, and it probably needs to perish undemocratically. For liberty, for freedom, for democracy, and for Super Earth.